in 1889, 8 years later, the golf club was established by Dr. Neville Davis, probably a brother of John Davis, who was a physician and a surgeon. So it looks like these people were so interested, their family is all settled down here. So, and then the first championship was held in 1891, the golf club, 1891. And mind you, this is the second oldest golf championship in the world. Probably the first one had to be in England, a golf championship.
Same name has kept for the same thing.
Is it so?
Andrews.
All right.
Andrews,
So although we don't know, these are actually our heritage. The golf club, world second, the oldest championship. So we have a great heritage and we have a natural beauty here. All this was developed by the British. We can now say that, the native Sinhalese can say that they came and robbed our country and destroyed us. But now that is all the past. Right? So now we have to talk about what have we done to correct those. We are still living on there. Perhaps if they were still here, this place would have been a developed place. Right? And then the last few decades of the 19th century saw a waste leaf disease which brought about the decline of coffee, which is called Cinchona. Sri Lanka was never in history famous for coffee, but coffee was the number one crop. And then with this blight situation, it was all devastated. Some of the people in the south migrated to Australia in steamers looking for jobs. And then of course they succeeded in going to Australia, but Australia is only 200 years, exactly 200 years history. So they had to work hard to build that place. They were suffering, and interesting stories about the Sri Lankans who went to Australia. We think it was a burgers, because first the Sinhalese, they had no work, they had no jobs. And then tea was introduced by whom? James Taylor. I see something here in this about introduction. I don't know how far this is true, whether something about A.G. Lear plants the first tea tree in Ceylon, Morelia.
A.G.?
L-E-A-R. I think it's pronounced Lear.
Lear.
Yes. But actually history reveals that it was James Taylor who brought in the first tree, and it was planted in Lulkandar estate. And then of course they found Morley was a better place. So they started clearing up more than 200 acres in Morelia, and they planted tea cultivation. And the climate was conducive, the soil was rich, black soil, the type of rainfall, sunshine we had. Our tea became world famous tea. Right? So now there was a problem. The Sri Lankan natives, there were no Indian origin. Even in by the time the tea was introduced, 1891, there were no Indian Tamils here. Now, the native Sinhalese wouldn't work under the British. They had their pride, because they felt that their country was stolen. Why should we work under the foreigners? You would have heard this famous term, Parasuddha and all that type of things at that time, right? So what happened? Now the British found tea was an amazing crop.